I have never in my life yelled at a girl like this. When my mother yells at me, it's because she loves me. I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. They were rooting my hair. Oh, hi, this is Tyra Banks. Welcome to my reroot. This is my inspiration for this hair. I hope you like it. This is going to be a long video, so hang in there.
Hey guys, I've got a Series 1 Skylar head down here, and this was from long ago, and I wanted to give her thick, heavy bangs, but I realized when I got her that her hair was not exactly Skylar's hair. Something was weird about it. You can see that it's shiny, and it's the shiny nylon. It's probably a prototype, and they rooted her with the shiny nylon, and somebody said no, we don't want shiny nylon here. So because of that, I decided not to use this head. I ended up doing Skylar with heavy bangs, and you can check out that video. I'll link it down in the description. But what I'm going to do with this head today is I'm going to completely remove everything, because I think that her makeup is quite good. There's a little tiny dot down here, but I can ignore that, and there's a little tiny scratch on her head down here, which the camera is hardly picking up. So I think that this is a good doll to work with, and I am going to actually start cutting off all her hair. I have chopped her and shaved her down with the shaver. Actually, I realized that chopping off all the hair and using the shaver is really the most efficient method of getting her hair as short as possible. And then after that, we're gonna go into her head and remove it all. You see how efficient that is. Now, actually, as I was doing this, I realized that this hair is a really horrible hair. I don't know what hair it is. I think some of it was the good silky metallic hair, but some of it was just really horrible hair. And I am all about saving hair for hair donors and everything, but I think that this hair is just a total waste of time. So I'm glad I've shaved her down. I will throw this away. It looks like a dog or a cat or something, like some animal's fur. I will throw this away because I will not be using it for anything. Of course, you can use the small bits for flocking, and you can shave this whole thing into flocking, but I don't think I'm going to want to flock anybody, and there is so much clutter in my house. I will just get rid of this completely and throw them in the bin. I take a screwdriver that is flat and I push it into her head, and I kind of scrape the head, and you can see all the little plugs kind of disappear. If you can see that, yeah, you can kind of see it disappearing from her head, which means that they are all being dislodged from the holes. Because this project has already has holes in her head, it's going to be much easier to widen the hole than if the doll had no holes already plugged into her. But then you have to try to fill up as many holes as you can, but you don't have to fill up all. There are pros and cons, because I really don't like this process of removing the hair and having to empty out the inside of the head. And now there, it's almost bald, maybe 1 or 2 plugs, and then I have to remove everything inside. What I have got now is some fabric glue. This is not very expensive fabric glue, it's like $2 online. And then I put it on a cotton stick. Of course, I have a tissue down there to absorb anything that may drip, because I don't want to clean the table of the glue after this. Now I put this cotton stick in with glue, and I start turning it around, hopefully to capture some of the hair. I have got almost nothing. Actually, I've got a little bit of hair, you see that? So I'm going to keep twirling it, because it has that bit of glue just to stick the beginning of the hair to it. And then I kind of keep turning and turning Well, the more I look at her, the more I feel like her makeup is super gorgeous. I really love it. And then look there, I have gotten rid of some hair. Hooray, woo, that's a lot of hair. I mean, yes, you are taking time and effort, but it is much less of a brute force. You know, we try to use less force when we reroot, because a lot of times I feel like I'm in a lot of pain after rerooting, and I feel like, oh, it's very tiring and my neck is aching and everything. So I found that this method really kind of helps, you know. Oops, so I kind of started off the video without filming anything as I was too excited. So what I'm actually going to do is, she's got little feelers. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to fill up a triangular part line for heavy bangs, and then I will fill up a small little part line, or like a little letter Y shape, and then I'll fill up everything around her head. If you've been following my videos, this is what I do. I basically poke a hole in wherever I want to reroot, and then I take this and I slot it in and wait for the hole to close. So I usually take the doll hair and it's like that, and what I will always do is I will dip the ends into glue and let it dry, and then I will kind of separate them into little extension strands like that. I've done some off camera because I keep doing this on video and it's not fun to see me just separating hair. But anyway, what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to alternate blonde and brown highlights. So in the same hole where I poke for a blonde highlight here, I am going to also put in a darker color on the reverse side, so it will make a Y-shaped part line, sort of like this. I slot that in, and then I can widen the hole again, and with this longer piece I slot it into the same hole, go into the same hole, and then the longer piece is on this side and the shorter piece is on this side. So you can see this is kind of forming her bangs, and this will be her normal hair. Again, I widen another hole. I hold this strand in my hand, always ready to quickly slot it into that hole. I pull it out and quickly push the hair in before it closes. Now, because I have to do this twice, because I am kind of making a part line here. So again, I take another thick strand of hair here, and I have pushed this needle into the big hole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to root that in as well. Root it here. And there it is done again. So as you can see down here, if you can imagine, this is like actually a part line. You know, when they have a middle part or a side part or something, this is actually a part line where I have two blondes going to the front. Of course, these are shorter pieces because this is just meant for her bangs, and then I will eventually even out everything, and then these are the longer pieces meant for the back of her hair. And you can see it's already quite secure, but of course you don't want to tug it out because you may damage the hole. So down here you can see I have some shorter strands, and of course I'll take this brown and I will push it into the next hole because it's 2 blonde strands and 3 brown strands. And I quickly push it in. Oops, the hole started to close already. So you see, with that, it's very important to keep the extension in your hand so that when you remove the big needle, you can slot it into the hole immediately, and it will. Oh, I'm so anxious now that I'm not even getting my words right. So I quickly pull it out and quickly slot it in. There, it's very quick. And then because this is a part line, once again I widen that hole, and then I have to take a blonde piece now. I cannot do a blonde piece now because it is still quite wet and it's going to be very difficult and messy to separate. So I'll do that later. And I will continue now with adding in some long strands and some brown hair. So I will remove this brown hair first, and I'll do that later. I can also do the brown hair here where I've got some blonde strands. So I re-widen the hole again. Of course, be very careful when you poke in this needle not to have your hand down here and hold it, because sometimes the quick push will cause the needle to come out from here. And if it pokes through and stabs your hand at such a high speed, it will be very dangerous. Push it in, and there, it will be very secure already. There. So you can see that I've got quite a part line here and here, and now I need to fill this up with blonde hair. Yeah, and I will do this all the way down until I form a Y shape, and here as well. And then after that, I'll start to fill in all the rest of her hair using the same method, which I hope will be quite easy for you if you try it, because it's basically playing with vinyl and playing with how much you can expand the vinyl and put in a piece and kind of let it close by itself. So it's actually a very simple process, and we are just playing with the way the vinyl works, which is, you know, since it works like that, we take advantage of it and push it in very quick. Yep. And then I widen it again. Well, it will be much quicker when you are rooting the rest of her hair, because you don't have to poke twice into the same hole. Quickly pull it out, push it in. There. I'm starting the part line on the other side as well. It's quite exciting to see it form. So I hope you will like it. It's going to be heavy blonde bangs and quite heavy brown bangs, so you know, it will be chunky, very chunky highlights, which is kind of like, you know, the old look. And I do see like Tyra Banks' hair is like with fine highlights, but I would like to do this look just a little bit more because it's a doll, and I think certain features can be a little bit more exaggerated. Aha! So this is a good example of when the holes kind of merge. So I've poked this hole a bit too close to each other. I'm not going to fuss about it, but I will make sure that the next hole is not going to merge with this. So I've got to be very careful with that. But for this, I just slot it in as well, and then I continue rerooting this as though it was two holes. So I again do the same process. And after that, I will try to make sure that since these two holes have merged, you know, I'm going to make sure that the next hole does not merge with this. So in that way, you've got to be careful, but it's not a big deal if you have a tiny split like that. It's still all right. So before I continue the reroot, I've actually started soaking her head in hot water, because I realized that some of the holes are very close to each other and they may split, so I'm trying not to root every single hole. But at the same time, I also realized that if I don't have the eyes in, it will be a little bit difficult later, because the scalp may split even further while trying to get her eyes in. So what I'm going to do is I just heat her head up right now, and I quickly put her eyes in. I'm gonna give her some brown eyes. Once her head is soft enough, it should be easy for the eyes to go in. So I put both her eyes in, and then I will continue with the reroot process. And you can see I have almost finished up everything in this Y-shaped part line. So I have to fill up some hair inside. It doesn't have to be completely full. I filled up some hair here as well, and then of course I have filled up some hair down here. I just need to put much more, and then we will continue with the whole reroot all around. So stay tuned. So I've spent quite a while just rooting this. So this is going to be her bangs, if you can imagine it. And of course this will be the hair that lays down and cover. And then of course I'll have a small tiny part line behind. Now what I've done to take a break from that, which is like constantly working on the hair, is I've separated some hair strands off and these of extensions. So you can see the tip of it has some glue, and you know, and then the rest is the hair. So I'm going to show you how I actually root once again. So this is all for her hairline. Now because the holes that are poked in here are already very close together, some of them may merge together. So because of that, I really don't have to root every single hole, but you know, you just want to be extremely careful not to let anything kind of join too much. You know, one hole may join to another and then you just skip the next hole. So just have to be extremely careful. So what I do is I hold the glue side of the hair and I leave the big needle inside. It's good to get one with a handle, you know, because you're doing this so many times. And then I quickly slip this in very nicely, lightly, and it's very easy. So you will realize that it's actually such an easy job and you really don't have to spend so much effort like pushing it in, spend so much elbow grease, because you're going to do this for the entire head. So yeah, you want to do it gently. I used to have neck aches and back aches and every kind of ache after rebooting, but you know, after a while it's good you know, because this is such an easy method to do it. Now if you can see carefully, the hole is still kind of expanded. After you leave it for just a while, it will definitely close up. So I go on to somewhere else and you can see these two holes. They are so close. If I just poke one, definitely the other one is going to merge with it. So I just take a strand of hair and again I will push this in, or slip it in, I would say. Slip it in and that's it. This fills up two holes and then you can see that this hole is kind of closing. So I will poke it, and gotta be very careful because the holes tend to want to merge together. Yes, and there we've got a culprit of merging holes. So I'm just gonna leave this area alone for a bit. I'm just gonna carry on here. Gonna skip one hole because I can see them merging already. And then I will slip this next one in just very lightly, yes. And then I can actually skip the next hole. So you just got to be very careful, and then at the end you can come back and view everything and see how you've done, which will probably not be so bad. I cannot decide which color to take, so I will just do it as I go, because you could blend the hair together, but that's another thing altogether. But I don't want a blended look. I want a thick, chunky, highlighted look because I like it. Yeah, I like the doll to have a thick, chunky, highlighted look. So I'm gonna come back here. Now, as you can see, these two holes have already merged. If I poke into this next hole, it will merge as well. So I'm just gonna do it from here. I don't need them so close together. And, oh, this one did not did not go nicely together, but I think it still can slip in. Whoops. Okay, so this is how quickly the hole closes. Oh, yes, okay, the hole is still there. So I still managed to slip it in. Then I'm going to go on to the next hole. Put in another brown strand. You can see how quick this whole thing is. And I push it in. And because this compared to my previous reroot when I have done one of the girls mini Choi, and I bought that head and she did not have any holes. That one was a little bit more difficult, I would say, because you actually were making holes. Now the holes are already here. I'm just widening the hole. Whew, I can really talk a lot. Okay, you see, so that is very close, so I'm gonna skip that because it will probably merge with the other hole, the next hole. I'm talking about all the holes in the head. Yes, and down there. Sometimes I can have 2 blonde strands, sometimes I can have 3 blonde strands, but I kind of have to start alternating them after a while. And at the end of it, you go through and you look if you have missed out any hole at all. You can always fill it in better next time rather than too much now. Okay, some more brown. Just slip it in, very easy and light. And then what color shall I put here? Blonde maybe. So there, I have already filled up this entire section. I'll wait for all the holes to completely close up before I check if I want to add in any more holes. This is the only problem with pre-selected holes already, but it's not much of a problem when it's much easier on your hands. Yeah, so I like the blonde right around the face, so I'm just going to choose the holes right here that have an immediate blonde right around the face. I try not to put my hand here because that can poke right through. And then I insert a blonde strand. Wide enough. Okay, this is where when you have this problem, the reason it won't go in is because I did not do the extension properly. I'm not sure if you can see it kind of splits here. Yeah, so I'm just gonna cut that away because there is still glue down here. Yep, there we are. Nice and easy. As you can see, I've tied the bangs away. I will fill that up inside much later. There is no need to rush to do that. There is no need to rush to do anything because nobody is telling me that I have got to finish the reroot by a certain time, and I guess that's what I love about really doing dolls at my own pace. Not having to keep up with the trend of a new celebrity or something like that. I just enjoy the pace that I can do it at, because already this is a very tiring job to do, and it's very tedious, it's very repetitive, and before I discovered this method of doing it, it required so much elbow grease when I used a tagging gun. So here I am enjoying the process right now. Also, the holes do close up very quickly, so you can take your time to puncture the holes, but you have to push them in very quickly before the hole closes up to secure the hair. So I guess I don't have to show you the entire process, but it is making me very happy, and because this is such a light and joyful process. Okay, you can see here. Let me show you very close now. Okay, can you see some of the holes have merged? So what I have done is I left that little space, I skipped one hole and I poked this hole. Right now, if I poke this hole and I poke the hole right next to it, it's going to merge as well. So I'm going to skip this one and I'm gonna come to this one, because if I do this, it may just merge with the other hole, and at least I have left a gap. I hope you get what I mean, but I really don't want to spoil the scalp and have it split after all my effort. There. So now can you see? Let me bring it closer. closer, can you see that there actually is a little hole here and there is that little gap, but it's not going to kill anybody, so it's okay. Yeah. With this, it's even so easy to widen the hole. I just have to lift up the head. With the other one, I had to put it down and poke this through. So that was a lot more challenging. So I envisioned this will be an even faster process. And you can see I've been talking here for 12 minutes. I've almost finished both sides. So I guess this will be quite an easy process, and I hope that it helps you with your reroot as well. Also, when I separate this hair, you do not have to be so precise. You really just have to, do it according to your feel of how much hair should be in one strand. And then after that, you can just continue estimating, because sometimes certain holes will require more strands of hair, some will require less, but there is no hard and fast rule like you must have 30 strands of hair in one hang kind of thing. No, you don't have to do that. So yeah, and this, if I was decided that I was really tired, I can just sweep all this into a little bag, and tomorrow I can still work with this. But yeah, I'm gonna see how much I can finish off tonight. So I've got most of her hairline already rooted in, just waiting for a bit more brown color to dry, and then I have to fill in the rest of her head. So what I'm going to do, you could actually do this a lot smaller, but I've done many strands of hair. I've made them slightly thicker, just slightly, and then it's not as thick as those for a part line, but then I'm going to just slot it in like that to the holes. I will have it a bit heavier around her part line, but around her hairline, but I don't have to fill in every single hole down here, because if I do that, I will take forever. If I do that, I will also be so, fed up with rerooting that I don't want to reroot anymore. I'm not a machine. But I just took the strands slightly thicker than than one plug, and I will fill up the hair maybe in alternate holes, but at least around the hairline I'm going to make sure that I fill up every single hole. But other than that, I can just do it a bit more alternate. I can be a little bit more relaxed with myself down there, because you don't need that much holes in it. So yeah, but you don't need that much plugs in the hair. As you can see, I pulled the middle one out accidentally, and yep. So you can see the hole has already closed quite quickly, and all you have to do is reopen it and reinsert that hair in, and it is actually very secure. You don't have to worry about it slipping out. So yeah, that's what I love about this method. It's actually very much easier than a lot of other methods that I've tried. I wouldn't say that it's the best method in the world, but I guess for me, it's the fastest. And yeah, while I'm doing this, and I've had lots of blonde prepared already, I'm also letting the brown ones kind of dry so that I can continue rooting later. Yes. Ooh, this is a bit tricky. So yeah, I'm just going to follow the blondes with the blondes. Nothing very intricate in this process, and I'm not sure if you want to watch me slowly reroot the entire doll, but it will take such a long time. It's crazy. But the thing is, I'm only on hour number 4 of doing this, so it's not taking me very long actually compared to when I previously reroot. I wouldn't say I'm faster than everybody else either. So yeah. I also came home last night with a bit of, like, I left the house last night for supper with a little bit of regret, thinking like, you know, did I not choose the right doll? Maybe I should have done this hair on Sunny. But the more I look at her, the more I look at the skin tone and the hair color, the more I loved it so much. So I'm very glad that I actually chose this Skylar doll to reroot and do it with bangs as well. So I'm gonna do everything else off camera, and I will show you the finished look, because all I'm going to be doing now is poking, inserting, and talking. So I don't think, oh, this hole is not good enough. Yeah, so sometimes I have to force a hole open because, you know, it's not at certain places that I want it to be, but yeah, that's all settled. If it's a hole that already exists, it is so much easier to just widen that hole. And then I just take a plug of hair, whoops, a messy plug of hair, and push it in. So, you know, creating these extension pieces, they usually take quite a long time, but I try, you know, I don't think they are gonna take a lot of elbow grease actually. So I feel like this is really the method for me to be enjoying my reroots. So I'll see you all once this is complete, and show you how I boil wash her with her bangs downwards. I'm so glad I'm finally finished with rerooting my Tyra bangs doll. This is the part line I'm gonna give her. If you can see, it's like a letter Y shape, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to comb it in the correct direction, and then I am going to boil wash her. This part of it is going to be her bangs. I have to say, as I was rerooting this doll and looking at the blue makeup and the blue, even the blue on her hair sculpt, I really felt like I have a new appreciation for Skylar's face, Skylar's makeup, and Skylar's color. Because before Rainbow High, blue was always my favorite color. But after I started collecting Rainbow High, I realized I started to love pink very much. I have no idea why. I did like Skylar. She was also my very first Poopsie surprise doll. So maybe it's because I got her as a Poopsie surprise doll first. Then the Rainbow High version of her did not really appeal as much to me as the rest of the dolls, and I love Poppy first a lot, and then I started to love Pink very, very, very much. I have no idea why. Maybe it's just that all the really cute ones are in pink. I have no idea why. But right now that I've done this Skylar doll, I feel so amazed that she really looks so good in this color. Like her makeup and everything. Unfortunately, this is probably going to be covered by the bangs, because I love having bangs that are slightly covering her eyes. So you will only see this much of blue on her, which this side is kind of disappearing. But it's okay. I've got a brand new appreciation for Skylar right now, and I really love it so much. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Right now I'm combing it all down in the direction to be boil washed. I have never rooted a doll so thick before, and I'm very excited to see how it turns out. So usually what I do is I take a thick piece of elastic band, I measure it around her head, I cut it like about 1 centimeter short, and then I sew this together So now that I have sewn it like this, kind of like a circle, I remove the thread, and I will always use this when I am boil washing dolls that need to have bangs because they will wear this. But before that, I will take some tape and I will tape her lashes down. Sort of a short piece of tape like this, and then just tape her lashes upwards in the direction that it's going so that you protect the lash during her boil wash. Because if you don't do this and she wears that piece of elastic band and you try to make her have bangs, she will have frizzy eyelashes, and that's not very nice. Of course, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because, you know, the bangs will kind of be covering part of her eyes. So this is just because I still want to keep the eyelashes on them. I don't know why, even though I will never be seeing them after the bangs are completely done. So then I comb her bang down. If you want, you can iron it first. I've actually ironed it with a flat iron. And then once you've got it really flat down, I will help her to wear this elastic band that I've made. Now, you don't have to make a new elastic band for every time that you give a doll bangs. I actually already had 2 and I lost them. So I'm just making a new one, and hopefully I won't lose it again, but it takes you 2 minutes just to cut the elastic band, sew it, and then you can put it on her. I've actually got a whole lot of elastic band, and it's like just a few dollars, and it will make many of those for me. But so yeah, that's what I do when I want to boil wash the doll and give it bangs, and I want their hair to be extremely, even though it's thick, I want it to be flat sitting on their hair. So I tie it this way, and with that I take freshly boiled hot water, pour it into a bowl. Yes, this is extremely hot. You can see all the steam coming out, and you want this to be very hot because it's going to set the part line and the bangs in place. So that's what I'm going to do. I boil it like this, and when I'm done, I'm going to show you what has happened to her. So I just leave this inside for like 5 minutes. Now that it's been boil washing for about 5 minutes, I will remove her, and you can see that yes, her hair is soaking wet, but it is very hot still. And I'm going to take her just to wash her under cool water, and then I will comb out her hair while it's wet and tie it back in this same position for it to dry. So after soaking her in hot water, I take her out, and then I wash her under cool water to kind of set the hair in place. I still leave the tapes on her eyes just to make sure that, you know, the eyelashes do not get crinkled up during this process. And then I wash her hair with some soap just because, you know, she's been all over the place while rerooting. And then I comb her hair into position. Now what I did before I did this combing was I took the head and swing it very hard a few times, and all the, you know, excess water kind of got out of her hair. It's still damp, but it will dry much faster. So at this point is again where I comb her bangs down perfectly and set it into position once again with this slightly wet elastic band, and slide it down. Now it doesn't matter if the rest of her hair is a bit kinky, you can iron that away later with a flat iron. What matters really now is the bangs are flat, and I'll leave this to dry until tomorrow, and then it will be ready for me to shave her bangs into a straight line. Oh, I just wanted to say that I did not put any glue in her head yet. Usually I do this after the boil wash because I don't know what the boil wash will do to the glue, but I think it would not affect the glue. It's just that I will always put some glue in to kind of secure the reroot. But actually, after using this process and the fact that I can boil wash it, it shows that it's quite secure. Yeah, it's not going to come out. As paranoid as I am, nothing has come out. So I'll put in a little bit of glue tomorrow once it's dry. It looks like I'm holding the head of a Yasmin doll because of all these highlights. I'm so excited to see what's gonna happen. I'm going to go to bed and let this dry. So I was extremely excited to wake up this morning because I knew that the head would completely have dried, and this is what's gonna happen when I remove the black elastic band. You can see how flat her bangs are laying down, and this is when I am going to remove all her current hair and then use a pair of shavers to shave her bangs. Now, I would not pull all her bangs to the middle because then you won't have an uneven length, but what I would do is at this current level, I'm going to shave her bangs. So just on camera, I'm going to do this slightly longer than she should have to remove it, but you can see how straight the shaver is, especially when you rock back and forth like this. But for the sake of accuracy, I'm going to do the exact level off camera because holding it in this angle may just mean I make a tiny mistake, and because of that I've got to redo it. So you can see how easy it is to remove that hair and how straight the bangs will be. And this is how you want to cut any doll that you want to give bangs to. But at the same time, I have not removed the tape on her eyes because I want to still protect the lashes from being shaved away. And so now I'm going to clear away all that hair, and you can see this is how she looks like, and that's when I will remove the tape. It's slightly a little bit crooked down here, so I think I have to just give her a tiny little bit more of a trim, just a little bit. There, perfect, hooray. And this is when I can actually remove the tape from her eyes, because you would still, in the end you want to have nice lashes underneath the bangs. I don't know actually for what reason I want to have lashes under the bangs, but yeah, it's a nice addition, just to know the lashes are still there. Yay. Move that, and there she's got her nice bangs, and then I'm gonna put her on a body. So here she is with very extremely long hair, and she has Carmen's top. Whose skirt is this? Gabriella's skirt, and I don't know which diva's high heels these are, but this is my Tyra Banks doll, and I hope you like her. And I think I should give her hair some layers because some of the pieces are much shorter, so I have to cut them and balance them out. But I am very glad with the result of this doll, and although the copper isn't exactly the color that I wanted like something a bit more ash, but I was trying to finish up all the hair that I had left from my previous reroots. So I hope you like her very much, and I'll show you her when I have cut her layers. So here was her starting look with a very casual outfit actually, and some very nice layers in her hair. I've also kind of point cut the ends so that it will be tapered all the way down, so it will be nice to play with, it will be nice to curl and create a lot of dimensions. Here she is in model basics, her hair in a very high ponytail, all the highlights showing through, and very nice and cute shoes. I actually need some help with whose shoes these are because I bought this off somebody, but I have no idea who they belong to. I tried to Google for them and I could not find them. So if you know, please let me know in the comments section below whose shoes these are. This is my final look for Tyra, and it is, I guess it's not gonna be the final look because from now on she's going to be appearing in all my other videos giving the girls makeovers, but here she is in Carmen's skirt and some stockings, and I think this is Brianna's shoes. I don't have Brianna, I just bought the shoes from somebody, and Stella's top and Crystal's top combined together with nettings. I hope you like this video and I hope you like this custom, and I really hope it helps you out, and I hope that you will share this video with anybody that you feel needs help with rerouting or has kind of given up rerouting. Maybe this method will help you. And yeah, please give a like, please comment in the comment section what hairstyles or what clothes I can give her, and let me know what you think of this doll. Yeah, thank you.
We were all rooting for you. How dare you? Learn something from this.